So on this exercise, I'm referring to the Shades and Shadows chapter on your book, and this is the one I'm going to do here for you. And you will have to do it on your activity sketchbook. You already have the drawing provided for you, so the only thing you have to do is follow the steps and develop, the shadows given by one source in the middle of the room, the light. So, and let me point out, here is the source of the light, and here is the vanishing point, okay? So I'm gonna show you on mine because I didn't copy this exactly, I just did my own drawing, so my vanishing point is slightly different, but very close to that one. So the first thing I'm going to do is to find the vanishing point on my drawing, because so many times I traced it. And how do I do that? I just go from the floor up, and when those two lines cross, this is where my vanishing point is. So it's almost where my light source is, but not quite, okay? And that's going to become important when we go and I will show you how, the edge of this object and the edge over here made the shadow. In this side, on the ball is going to be obviously on this side, and on the plant is going to be behind the plant. So the second step will be, and we know we have a grid on the floor, okay? So we know somewhere in here that light should hit on the floor, all right? And that's very important, because where it hits, it will kind of tell me the distance between the wall and the top of the light, and the distance between the wall and and this light. So I'm going to pretend actually that it's a little shorter. Let's say the light was hooked to the ceiling right here, okay? And so if I go down, I'm gonna follow somewhere in here. I don't wanna become too far here, because then the shadows are going to project that way and they're not gonna be similar to your book. So I'm going to come down, and I'm pretty much gonna decide that here is where I'm touching, okay? So this is gonna be behind, and this is gonna be on this side, and this one on this side. So the first thing to do will be that from the edge of the box, and I'll show you with orange lines which lines. So this is the vanishing point, and the lines from the object, from this cube that go to the vanishing point, are these ones, okay? And always take an opportunity to correct any mistake you have made before. Okay, so those are the lines. This one is going to project here. Now, because this is one vanishing point, remember, these lines are parallel to the edge of the page and to the top and to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to do it by hand, that way I won't smear the ink. There, so this is the object. Okay, so the parallel lines and the ones that go to the vanishing point. Now, from the floor on the object, I'm going to go directly to this point and project. I don't know exactly where right now. This is not, because it's going to be very illuminated, but this one on the back is very important. So I'm gonna just guess at this point where that line is, okay? And I'm going to go from that edge on the bottom all the way, okay, somewhere in here. And now from this one to that one, this one is not gonna show, but I just so you know, okay? Now, I'm going to come from the light, I'm going to change the color, and touch those edges. And I'm going to come from the light source now to this edge, and when I touch the blue line through the edge is where my point So this is the edge, and here I touch the blue line. Now the other edge is almost the same, but it goes to the other blue line. That's why it was important to mark that one there, through there, from here. Okay, so these lines are gonna be almost together. They're gonna look parallel, but when I get here, the difference you will see. And then from this corner to the blue line, because that's the edge in there, this corner, not that one. It kind of matches because of the points are so close. But here is where you have to cast. So now it's just as simple as joining the lines through the points. Okay, so this is the cast shadow of that object. Now, keep in mind that this edge is this edge, and this edge is that one here. This one is this one, okay? Let me do the round shape. Let me just go a little bit about this. As you know, it's circle, but it's not flat. So actually, if you want to make your ball round, you know that at the end, here in the bottom, only a little bit is gonna touch the ground. And because the light is coming from here, probably all this area is gonna be much lighter, and you start getting, kind of grabbing those points, and you're gonna grab this and this point. So with the red, I'm gonna come now from the light to that point first, meaning this one. And from this one first, so I just have how big is the ball going to grow, if I reflect that. Now, I'm also gonna have a little bit of this here, but I also gonna have from here to there, because I'm gonna cast some light that is gonna come in through there. Remember, the ball is just touching the floor on very small area. Okay, now, very careful, maybe with my pencil, I'm gonna show you first, and then I'm gonna put it with the blue. So I'm gonna come from here all the way to here, and somewhere in here, I forgot that line. If I mark this one, I should mark that one. And it falls somewhere in there. So from here to there, and keep growing. And then from here to there, and keep growing. And if you can see now, this is where I'm coming out, where this one goes to the blue, this one goes to the blue, and more important, this one here, no, this one here on the floor goes to the blue. Somewhere in here, I think it should be slightly more. Okay. And just go around one more time. There. And as you can see, because it's a interior light, kind of tend to elongate the shadows. All right. And now this one is very simple. Goes from that edge to here. So it goes through that edge because that's where the biggest circumference is on the pot. And then pretty much just goes like that. And you can just, you know, in the plant, I'm not gonna do it right now, but you can, when you do the rendering with the plant, you create a little bit more of an edge, you know, on one side of this. So let me mark this. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the flower pot in there. And this is the ball, and this is the, oh, I forgot I had the orange. So this is the object. Okay, so that's the way you do one spot, one light, and one interior. On this one, I actually skipped this part, but somehow goes in there, you know. So it's obvious that it's on the back.